What if the most tragic event in a star's life was also the most carefully orchestrated? What if the official narrative, the one everyone is telling you, is a complete and total fabrication designed to hide a truth so mind-bending, so terrifying, it could shatter the entire entertainment industry? Did Yu Menglong truly fall by accident, or was he pushed into a world of shadow and silence? And what if the very people who claim to be mourning him are the ones who sealed his fate? We're about to dive into the shocking, hidden details of Yu Menglong's death, the mysterious deregistration of his studio, and a theory that connects it all to a sinister power play far darker than you could ever imagine. Today, you're not just watching another news report. You're getting an exclusive, deep-dive investigation that pulls back the curtain on one of the most perplexing and heartbreaking celebrity deaths in recent memory. We're going to dissect the official statements, expose the gaping holes in the story, and present the stunning visual evidence and eyewitness accounts that the media is desperate to ignore. By the end of this video, you will have a completely new perspective on this tragedy, and you'll be armed with the kind of information that makes you question everything you think you know about fame, power, and the terrifying price of success. Stick around, because the truth is far more captivating and horrifying than any fiction. The world of Chinese entertainment was plunged into a state of collective shock and grief. The news, when it broke, was a single, devastating headline. Yu Menglong, the beloved actor known for his ethereal roles and captivating presence, had died. The official story, released in a solemn statement from his former studio, was simple, clean, and utterly heartbreaking. He had fallen. A tragic accident, a sudden and inexplicable end to a life that had so much more to give. Condolences poured in, the media moved on to the next sensational story, and for a moment, it seemed like the case was closed. But beneath the surface of this polished narrative, a storm of unsettling questions was brewing, fueled by a series of bizarre events and a chilling revelation that challenges everything we've been told. This story isn't about a simple accident. It's a twisted tale of a deregistered studio, a cryptic statement that changed everything, and scenes so vividly described by eyewitnesses that they paint a picture of a final night that was anything but peaceful. And it all begins not with his death, but with the quiet, unnoticed vanishing of his company months before the tragedy. The first major red flag was the curious case of Yu Menglong's studio. In a world where celebrity studios are the very foundation of an artist's brand and business, his was quietly, mysteriously, deregistered. This wasn't just a change of management, it was a complete and total dissolution of his professional identity. On paper, Yu Menglong, the multi-talented star, no longer had a company. This detail, barely a footnote in the initial news cycle, is a critical piece of the puzzle. Why would a top-tier celebrity, at the height of his career, dissolve his own company? Was it a strategic business move, as some have speculated, or was it something far more sinister? Was it a deliberate act to sever legal ties, to leave no official paper trail before an event that someone knew was coming? Think about it. The studio is the voice of the artist, their public face, their fortress. To tear it down is to leave them exposed, vulnerable. And it was this very deregistered studio, or rather, the empty shell of it, that released the official statement confirming his death. The statement itself was a masterclass in controlled grief. It was somber, respectful, and most importantly, it stated that police had ruled out criminal involvement. Case closed. Move on. But who was really behind this statement? A studio that no longer legally existed? Was it his management, acting on his behalf? Or was it a puppet statement, pulled by strings from the shadows, designed to get ahead of the story and control the narrative before anyone could start asking questions? The scenes we are about to reveal suggest the latter. The timeline is a twisted masterpiece of deception. The studio was deregistered in July. His death was announced in September. In the interim, he was, in a professional sense, a ghost. But it was during this very period of legal limbo that Yu Menglong's final, mind-blowing moments allegedly took place. A series of eyewitness accounts and leaked online videos, quickly scrubbed from the internet, paint a picture that is a complete contradiction to the peaceful fall narrative. Imagine this scene, described in chilling detail by a dog walker who was the first to find the body. It wasn't a quiet morning. The silence was broken not by a sound, but by the frantic, terrified reaction of a dog. The animal, its senses far keener than a human's, froze, then backed away, whimpering. It was a reaction to the smell of something horrifying. This is not the scene of a tragic, quiet fall. This is the aftermath of a violent, gut-wrenching event. The police photos, which a few intrepid online sleuths managed to get a glimpse of before they were taken down, showed a scene that was far more chaotic than the official story would have you believe. Then there's the detail about the broken window mesh. The official story implies he fell from a balcony. But a property management staff member, in a whispered conversation with an online reporter, claimed that the window mesh of the fifth-floor apartment was broken. Why is this so significant? Because it suggests not an accidental stumble, but a forceful, violent impact. It's a detail that points away from a simple, tragic fall and towards something else entirely. Was the window mesh a last, desperate attempt to hold on? Was it broken from the force of someone being pushed? But the most mind-blowing scene of all comes from an anonymous source claiming to be a neighbor. They heard something. Not just a thump, but something much more disturbing, a muffled, heated argument. Voices raised in anger. It was followed by a moment of terrifying, complete silence. And then, the next sound was a sickening thud. This isn't just a theory, this is a horrifying account from someone who claims they heard the final moments of a life being taken. And this detail, this one small piece of a much larger puzzle, changes everything. It suggests that there were people present, that there was a conflict, and that the story of him being alone in a locked room is a complete and total lie. The final piece of this disturbing puzzle is a leaked video, a few seconds of grainy, dark footage that was shared online for a brief, terrifying moment before it was erased. It shows a shadowy figure, not of Yu Menglong, but of two other people, frantically moving in the pre-dawn hours near the building where he was found. They are not calling for help. They are not looking for someone. They appear to be cleaning something up, a frantic, hurried effort to erase a trace. We can't verify the video, but the fact that it was scrubbed from the internet with such ferocity, almost as soon as it appeared, speaks volumes. Why erase a video of people just leaving a friend's house? Unless they weren't just leaving. Unless they were escaping. The official statement from his mother, released days after the initial announcement, only added more layers of confusion. She said he died in an accidental fall after consuming alcohol. While her grief is unimaginable, this statement feels like an attempt to put a final nail in the coffin of speculation. It's a plea for peace, but it also conveniently provides a reason, alcohol, that makes all the other details seem irrelevant. A simple tragedy. A man under the influence, a terrible misstep. But is that what really happened, or is this the final piece of the cover-up, a desperate move by a family under immense pressure to protect what's left of their son's legacy? The truth is, all of these bizarre scenes and cryptic details point to a shocking theory: Yu Menglong's death was not an accident. It was the culmination of a dark power struggle that he may have unknowingly been a part of. The deregistration of his studio wasn't a business move, it was a way to isolate him, to cut him off from his support system and his legal protection. The official statements weren't just from his manager, they were from a powerful cabal controlling the narrative, ensuring that no one ever looked too closely. And the scenes from that terrifying night, the screaming, the broken window, the frantic cleanup, are the horrifying reality that was wiped away from the official record. This isn't about disrespecting the dead. It's about demanding justice. It's about refusing to accept a narrative that feels hollow, incomplete, and profoundly wrong. The story of Yu Menglong's death is a cautionary tale, a stark reminder that in the world of fame and power, the line between a hero and a victim can be terrifyingly thin. It's a story that needs to be told, not just for him, but for everyone who has ever wondered about the dark secrets that lurk behind the glittering facade of celebrity. We may never know the full truth, but by piecing together these mind-blowing scenes and asking the questions no one else dares to, we can ensure that the real story of Yu Menglong and the sinister forces that may have silenced him is never truly forgotten. We just scratched the surface, my friends. We delved into the initial shock, the official statements, and the first whispers of dissent. But now, we're going to zoom in, to scrutinize the very first crack in the facade, the vanishing act of Yu Menglong's studio. This isn't just a detail, it's the genesis of the entire conspiracy, a silent, bureaucratic maneuver that set the stage for everything that followed. Imagine a towering fortress, visible to all, a symbol of power and protection. That was Yu Menglong's studio. It was his brand, his legal entity, the engine driving his career, and the shield safeguarding his interests. Now, picture that fortress, not crumbling under an attack, but simply dissolving. Without fanfare, without explanation, it ceased to exist. In July, mere months before his tragic death, the official records show that Yu Menglong's studio was deregistered. Not merged, not rebranded, but erased. This wasn't a celebrity selling off assets. This was a deliberate act of professional annihilation. And the most mind-blowing scene related to this isn't in a dark alley, but in the sterile, unfeeling world of corporate filings. Consider the sheer audacity of this move. A star of Yu Menglong's caliber, with endorsement deals, ongoing projects, and a massive fan base, does not simply liquidate his primary professional vehicle without significant, public-facing reasons. There were no press releases announcing a new venture, no leaks about a major restructuring. Just silence. And then, the quiet, almost imperceptible deletion of a powerful entity. Why the secrecy? Why the swift, clinical execution? Here's where the scene gets even more chilling. The official statement confirming Yu Menglong's death came from this very same deregistered studio. Think about that for a moment. An entity that legally no longer existed was the one to deliver the devastating news and, crucially, to manage the immediate narrative. Who exactly was signing off on that statement? Who was pulling the strings of a ghost company? Was it his former manager, now acting independently, or was it someone else entirely, leveraging the lingering authority of a defunct brand to lend credibility to a carefully crafted message? This is a scene right out of a high-stakes thriller, where the antagonist uses a seemingly legitimate front to control the flow of information. The statement declared police had ruled out criminal involvement. This wasn't just news, it was a verdict, delivered by a non-existent entity, designed to preempt any investigation, any lingering questions. It's like a puppet show where the puppeteer ensures the audience never sees the strings. Now, let's explore the implications of this deregistration, because this isn't just about paperwork, it's about power and vulnerability. When an artist's studio is deregistered, several critical things happen. First, all contractual obligations, pending legal matters, and future projects are thrown into chaos. Did Yu Menglong suddenly become a free agent, without representation? If so, why? Was he attempting a bold, independent career move, or was this independence forced upon him? Second, and most critically, he lost his official legal and financial protection. A studio acts as a buffer, a shield against external pressures and potential threats. Without it, Yu Menglong would have been exposed, an individual navigating a cutthroat industry without a formal support structure. This detail, my friends, is not just mind-blowing. It's utterly terrifying. It paints a picture of isolation, of a star systematically stripped of his defenses months before a tragic event. Imagine this scene: Yu Menglong, perhaps unaware of the full implications, or perhaps desperately trying to regain control, finds himself in a legal and professional vacuum. He is no longer shielded by the corporate entity that once protected him. Every conversation, every deal, every public appearance now carries a heightened risk. He's no longer negotiating from a position of power, backed by a legal team, he's on his own. This vulnerability would have made him an easy target for anyone with sinister intentions, anyone looking to silence him or control his narrative. And this brings us back to the official statement. It wasn't just from the deregistered studio, it was the deregistered studio's last act. Its final, desperate performance on the public stage, not to grieve, but to control. It was a carefully worded message designed to shut down speculation, to push the narrative of an unfortunate accident, and to ensure that no one looked beyond the surface. The efficiency with which this statement was released, the immediate dismissal of criminal activity, all point to a coordinated effort, an attempt to lock down the story before any real questions could emerge. This is the scene they didn't want you to see, the invisible hand operating a phantom entity, pulling strings from the shadows, dictating the narrative of a beloved star's death. The deregistration wasn't a mistake or an oversight, it was a strategic dismantling, a prelude to a final, tragic act. It left Yu Menglong exposed, vulnerable, and ultimately, unable to fight back against the forces that sought to control his story, even in death. This is just the beginning of unraveling the truth. The Vanishing studio is not a side note, it is the cornerstone of a conspiracy far more intricate and chilling than any of us could have imagined. What do you think about the deregistration of Yu Menglong's studio? Does it seem like a normal business move for a celebrity of his stature, or does it raise serious red flags for you? And who do you believe was truly behind that official statement from a non-existent company? Drop your thoughts, theories, and questions in the comments below. If you're as gripped by this investigation as I am, please give this video a like, share it with anyone who needs to hear this story, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single crucial update as we expose more shocking truth.